everyone, how you doing? It's Man Joe, and guess what? It's Christmas time. And so I bought myself an early Christmas present. I got myself a Cinch controller. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I do know how to add buttons onto my controllers, but I don't know how to do 4 buttons, and I certainly don't have the ability to do remapping. Now, I actually do own a Scuf controller, but I actually hate the controller. First of all, it's got paddles on the back, and the way my hands work, I found that I couldn't use the inside paddle. So I paid for 4 paddles, but I was only ever able to use 2. I also really do want to have the remapping, and Cinch has finally been able to put that onto their controllers. The other thing with Scuf is I hate the company. They have the worst customer service in the world. They absolutely do not care about the general public, only the professional gamers. Had nothing but problems with every order I've ever placed with them. The last controller I bought from them, it actually arrived broken. We mailed it back to them. They told me 3 to 5 days, and it took them 55 days to repair. Then when we got it back, guess what? They said, you're out of warranty now. Absolutely a ridiculous company. So I decided to give Cinch a try, and I have to tell you, I'm very pleased with it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over the controller. I'm going to show you everything that I got added onto it, what I like about the controller, what I don't, things I wish they would possibly change. In addition, we'll talk a little bit about the company. So let's get into the controller and show you all the different features on it. Okay, so when you get the controller, it does come in this nice box here, very similar to Scuf. You open it up, the controller is packed in a nice foam. They have a card in here. It says, congratulations on your new Cinch on the front. And on the back, it's got the instructions on how to do the remapping and also how to adjust your trigger stops, because now they do have adjustable trigger stops. They also have an Allen key to adjust your trigger stops and a grip removal tool, which you really don't need, and I'll show you that in a little later. And here's my controller. And now I have to tell you, I did add a couple of things onto the controller. I got the Excellent Cinch one. I just wanted something a little bit different. They do allow you to, even their ones that they have kind of pre-configured, like the Excellent Cinch, you can change anything. So I did white bumpers and white triggers and a white D-pad and stuff. So I'm really happy with this controller. Now, let's talk a little bit about the company before I even get into the controller. I have to tell you, first of all, I placed the order for this controller on a Sunday afternoon. A little bit after I placed the order, I decided, you know what, I really wish I would have done this to it. So I emailed them. They actually emailed me back that night. I don't know, probably somewhere around 9 or 10 o'clock. They said, no problem, we'll make those changes for you. The next day, they actually built the controller, and by Tuesday, I got an email saying, your controller has been shipped, and it was in my hands by Friday. Less than a week after I even ordered the controller. They ship everything priority mail, which is really nice. Don't charge a tremendous amount of money for shipping. The thing is, though, when I did get the controller, I was kind of nitpicky about something. I really didn't like the LED button. It felt like it didn't sit right. I was having a hard time double tapping it. So I asked them if they can fix it. They said no problem. I mailed it back to them. They fixed it, sent it back to me, and it was back in my hands the following Friday. So less than 2 weeks from when I ordered the controller, they built it, sent it to me. I mailed it back to them, and they returned it to me in less than 2 weeks. And here's something about their customer service. When I got it, the second time, they sent me this nice little letter. It says, we really apologize that there was a problem with it, and here's a 10% off coupon for the next order you place with us. So I have to tell you, when it comes to Cinch, I'm so impressed with their customer service, I cannot even begin to explain it. They return your emails like within an hour or so, as opposed to several days if you're lucky with Scuf. They do make a nice product. I know they're not the name Scuf. They haven't been around as long, but I'm telling you, they make a great product. So let's actually talk about the controller. Now, I pretty much got every option you can get on this controller. Like I said, I did get the Excellent Cinch one. It does light up yellow on the middle. It's got and it does say Excellent Cinch up there, EX for the Excellent Cinch logo. It has the nice Excellent Cinch. They do have a lot of different shells you can choose from. Like I said, I did the white bumpers, white triggers, white D-pad, and white buttons here with blackout buttons here. These are the standard thumbsticks because I use Control Freak, so there's really no reason for me to change the thumbsticks out at all. Now, as far as the back, like I said, I chose to do 4 buttons. I really like having 4 buttons. The bottom buttons are very easy. They kind of rest right where your fingers rest, if I can kind of angle it so you can see it. And then it's very easy to just kind of move your finger up to the other button. So very easy to use. Now, I did add the remapping to this controller. The remapping is extremely simple, and I actually like it better than the Cinch's remapping. If you know anything about the Cinch controller, the way you remap it is they give you this little magnet. You have to hold the magnet on the back. While holding it, you have to press the paddle that you want to remap, and then the button on the front, all while trying to do this and balance this magnet on the back. The Cinch controller is very simple to remap. All I have to do is press and hold this button, and you're going to see the LED light blink. Then I press whatever button I want to map, it blinks again, and then I press whatever button I want on the back, it blinks again, let go, and now it's remapped. Very easy to do. You could do it in the middle of a game if all of a sudden you've decided you want to change what you do. Love the feature. It's definitely worth it. I think they charge $34.95 to remap, and I have to tell you, if you're going to buy a controller with the way all these games work today, you definitely, I would invest the $35. You're investing in the money in the controller anyway. Go ahead and get the remapping because it allows you to change things. You know, with Advanced Warfare, I'm really enjoying having a button on the back to my left thumbstick so that I can dodge boost. You know, instead of having to try to press down and move over on my thumbstick, I can just press the button on the back. But there may be another game where I'd prefer to have that as a reload. For example, if I go back to Ghosts or something like that. So that is one feature that I absolutely love. Like I said, I think they charge $34.95 for it. Now, the next thing that I added on here was they do have a new trigger stop. And to do new trigger stops, all you gotta do is just take off your grip panels. They give you a little tool for it. And if you can see it on the camera, they've put a little screw right up in here. And it's kind of hard to show up on the camera there. But up in there, they have a little Allen screw. And all you do is take it and put it in. And what that allows you to do is adjust how far down you're going to press your trigger. And you can see on Advanced Warfare, you don't have to press it much. The nice thing about these, though, if you have a game where you don't want trigger stops, let's say you want to go back and play Destiny where you really can't use trigger stops, all you have to do is take that little Allen screw and screw it all the way in, and now you have full range. If you have the Scufs, you actually have to remove this screw here, pull out the whole trigger stop, which is a pain in the neck, hope you don't lose it, and then put it back in later. So it's very easy to adjust this. It's a really nice feature. The other thing is it has nothing to do with the grips. So one thing I am not super happy with Cinch is they don't have their own grips yet. But not a problem. You can buy the Scuf grips on your own if you want, and the Scuf grips do snap right onto the back. So that's actually what I'm doing. So allows me, even though I'm mixing the two companies, it gives me the grip that I want with all the features, and I have a better controller, in my opinion, than the Scuf controller. Those are pretty much all the features I had. Like I said, I did get 4 buttons. Now, let's talk a little bit about price. So when it comes to the price of the Cinch, they're pretty competitive with Scuf. I think in the end, they work out to be about the same price. Depending on what you add to it, you actually save a few dollars with Cinch. Also, Cinch actually offers an extended warranty, which Scuf does not. And I have to tell you, if you're going to get a controller, if you're planning on keeping it for a while, I highly advise the extended warranty. Not so much just to cover what they're doing to it, but, you know, if you're playing a lot of games, maybe those buttons are going to fail. But one thing that I have found with the Xbox One controllers is that these thumbsticks actually wear out. I think it's a bad design on Microsoft's part, but as you press down and run around, especially your left control stick, if you can kind of see on there, it rubs up against the shell. And what we've been finding is, I find that that stick actually rubs a groove into it, and then when you press down, it kind of gets stuck. So the Cinch warranty actually covers normal wear and tear. So to me, it's worth it just for that. Now, thumbsticks aren't that expensive. You can get them for $2 to $5, $10, but you got to open up the controller and you're going to have to worry about the wiring and everything else. So I highly advise it. I wrote down my price. I apologize for not looking at the computer, but they charge $20 to extend the warranty for 6 months and $25 for a year. It's a completely optional thing. Up to you. As far as the basic controller, Cinch allows you to either get a controller for them or you can mail in your own controller. Now, as opposed to Scuf, if you mail in your controller with Scuf, they allow you to do very few options. They don't allow you to do many upgrades. I don't even think they allow you to add the remapping feature if you mail in a controller. So you kind of have to custom build one of theirs. Cinch Gaming lets you customize your own mailed-in controller however you want. You can change everything. But I'm going to go over the price of the basic things. First thing, the controller itself, if you mail in your controller, they charge you $49.95. And what that basically is it gives you 2 buttons on the back. That's all it is. $50. They add 2 buttons on the back. From there, you can add whatever you want. And we'll go over the features that I've added, not including the shell. If you want to change the color of the LED inside of your guide button, they charge you $10. If you don't want to change the color but just want to change the button itself, they do have some colored buttons. They charge you $5. Trigger stops. Kind of a preference. Some people like them. Some people don't like them. I personally like having trigger stops, especially because I like using guns like the MK14 or a shotgun or something like that. And the trigger stop allows me to tap much quicker than having that full range of the trigger. If you're going to get the Cinch, I advise you to get the new ones, the adjustable ones. They're $10.95, but allows you to adjust them. You know, the other ones are going to be configured basically for one game, but there may be a different game. And they also are a screw that comes out the top, and you got to look at this ugly screw. These are hidden. You don't even see them. They're completely adjustable. They're $10.95. From there, if you want to have 2 more buttons on the back, and that's completely your preference, they charge you $10 per button. So, you know, now if you're just doing the buttons and the trigger stops, what are you up to? You're $50, $60, $70, $80, $81, okay? And then they charge you $35 for the remapping. So if you add all that stuff onto a controller you mail in, you're paying $115. Now, if you don't want to mail in your controller, you just want an extra controller, all those features are like $175. So they're charging you $60 more, which is the going price of a controller in the store. Now, you could also go to a store locally. You know, they have them on sale sometimes for 40 bucks. Get that, save $20, mail it into them. But remember, you got to pay shipping to mail it to them. So those are the features that I suggest if you get a Cinch. Like I said, I'm very happy with this product. I think they're an incredible company. I really would like to see them get bigger. You know, I kind of look at Cinch as like, you know, Cinch and Scuf is like David and Goliath. You know, David, this small weakling, Goliath, you know, Scuf's this big company. But as we all know, in the end, David wins. And I'm hoping that's the way it's going to go with Cinch, because I'm just appalled by Scuf Gaming as a company. And I know it's an old personal rant, and I'm really discussing the controller, but I have to tell you, if you're just looking at, I need something with buttons on the back, and you don't care about the name Scuf, but you want it professionally done, I would definitely go with a Cinch controller. Yes, they're not the name Scuf, but they are a professional gaming company. They are sponsoring some professional gamers. Their customer service is, bar none, the best thing I've ever seen. They care about their customers, and they're going to stand behind their product. So for that reason alone, I would definitely go with getting a Cinch controller. Now, to help you save a little bit of money, they've actually given me a code that you can use because I'm making this video. If you use the code UMPMANJOE, I'll put it down, I'll link down in the below, you get 5% off of your order. So hopefully that can help you a little bit. But I just wanted to go over the controller a little bit, Yeshaya. I'm really excited about it. Got all the new features on it. Does everything I want to do. Now, as far as what I don't like about the controller, there's not much. I'd probably say there's one thing that I'm not super happy with as far as the controller comes. Or 2 things, I should say. Number 1, if you get the adjustable trigger stops, they have to remove the trigger rumbles. Now, if you don't know, the Xbox controller does have rumbles in the palms, and they also have rumbles in the triggers. Now, when it comes to Call of Duty, I actually turn my rumbles off anyway, but the adjustable trigger stops, they have to remove the trigger rumbles. So the controller will still work, you just won't have trigger rumbles. The next thing I'm not really happy with is I wish they would have some grips. Now, I have talked to them, and they said they are working on grips. They should have them out sometime in January or something like that. Hopefully that's the case. So if you want to have a grip, you're going to either have to not have them or go to Scuf's website, as much as I hate to tell you, and buy yourself a set of pro grips, and they just snap right on. One other thing when it comes to buying a controller, Cinch doesn't charge if you don't want rumbles. Some people want to remove their rumbles to make the controller a little bit lighter. They don't charge for it. Scuf Gaming actually charges you to remove the rumbles, which to me is a joke, because if you've seen some of my other videos on how to actually put buttons on a controller, in order to work on the controller, you have to remove the rumbles. Well, they're removing the rumbles to work on the controller and then charging you if you want to keep them out. That kind of makes no sense. It's an extra step to put them back in, but they don't charge you to put them back in. They only charge you to keep them out. So that's a joke. So Cinch doesn't charge for that. And the other thing is I recommend if you look on the Cinch's website when you custom order a controller, they give you the option to update the firmware. You really don't need to do that. You can do it yourself just by plugging your controller in on your Xbox. Just hit update controller. So there's no reason to pay them $5 to do it. So that's my video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I hope I've helped you to make a decision of whether or not you want to get a Cinch or a Scuf. Like I said, I've got both. I actually really prefer the Cinch. I think the buttons are much easier to use than the paddles. I think the company is better. They have a lot of options with the shells. It completely comes down to your preference. I don't care about name. I care about functionality. I care about customer service. And Cinch wins in both of those instances. So, guys, hope you have a great holiday. And until next time, happy gaming.